Okay.
I apologize. I don't want to apologize because this is something just the Lord laid on my heart, and I was like, man, I don't know about this, and so you know, one thing I do want to mention real quick is again, you know, I mentioned pray for rain. You know, and just after eating, I was looking at Facebook, and somehow a post came out about the sale barn out here, you know, about how many, you know, another week of high sales of cattle, and the price is kind of going down too on that, and oh, right.
Yeah, you get to have clicker. I believe that button just makes it go forward.
Okay. Okay, I'll see what I can do, see if I can mess it up or not. I don't know what to do. I'm not used to holding two things or even just one thing in my hand, so we'll see. But, you know, and I've seen some other friends post that again, you know, it's so dry they can't even plant the wheat and not have pastures and stuff. And, you know, I think about that, I think, you know, again, how many, you know, those farmers, those men, some of those men have been doing that for 50, 60 years. And you know what? They may sell out and have time to quit what they love to do. You know, and you know, for some of those people may cause a great depression. You know, and so again, you think about those folks, you know, in that area, and again, you know, with that, you know, I mean, it'll change the scenery out here. If you have an I-40, it'll change that scenery. It won't be those green pastures this fall with wheat and stuff, those cattle out there roaming and so forth.
It's the same thing here.
Yeah, yeah. But you know, one positive note, a little bit maybe. We want to watch for those deer as much. You know, we have those pastures eating that wheat. So maybe that'll keep them from getting in our way, right? So, but yeah, think about that. On Sunday night, okay, so Sunday morning we got Walter Plant, is that correct, Walter Plant? And then Sunday night, no church here. We'll be down at the annual meeting in Chickasha. Starts at 5 o'clock, I believe, and at the fairgrounds. And Brother Dick wanted me to ask, if you want to go, let us know so that we can load up in the van if you want to. You might load up in the van and go down there and just, you know, maybe want to see what's happening in our association and stuff, and what the plans are and all that kind of stuff. There will be a meal there, so I don't know what exactly. There will be a meal there, okay? So there's just those two things. So what we're going to do tonight is, this is a thing, I've heard this several times and been trained in how to train people in this. We're going to look at a thing called listening evangelism. And again, you know, after last week, he was talking about us, you know, reaching the lost and stuff, and this is just where God has said, this is what I want you to share. Okay, and so yeah, and yeah, they're used to hearing the Bible, they're used to hearing some scripture. But this will be some scriptural stuff, and again, help us to witness to people. And this is not, you know, this is designed more for young people, how to share with them. But I think it's good for all of us. And I'm going to read this really quick. Everyone's glasses on, in case you don't get lost. But this is not on a slideshow. But it says, in a world where so many people want to be heard, you can learn to serve the people around you by becoming a great listener. In our time together, we will focus on the simple skills anyone can learn to make an immediate impact in the world. We will also combine the International Mission Board's method of storytelling with our listening skills to form an easy and comfortable way to tell this God's story to those places in your path. Okay? So, listening evangelism. Okay? Again, this is not. And again, the main thing is the top line, the listening part. Okay, the listening part. Okay, I don't know what I got to do, but I do that. Okay, man, I did good. All right, so hey, you know, any cup? I got one, yeah, that's what I want. Okay, so one thing that's important for us is we live in a culture where most people are telling their stories, but few people are listening. Okay, I mean, I'm guilty of it. One of the things is, in this is, a lot of times, again, when somebody tells their story, what are we doing? We're thinking of our story that, man, that it's the same as theirs or better, right? And I got to share mine. They share their story. I got to share my story. And you know what happens a lot of times? And we're going to get to this too, but we miss their story. Okay? And so that's one thing important again, again, I better quit. We're going to jump ahead here. Okay? When you become a person who listens, you become an incredibly important person in our culture. Because people know you listen. They know you hear them. And you know what? One of the things that happens too is they see you, they come to you. And they become attached to you sometimes. Because they can trust you in that. Okay? Our goal is to see every person as someone uniquely created by God. Hearing their story helps us understand the journey they have been on. It's one of those things is that, it's easy for me, and I'll share a couple of different things here. It's easy for me to be friends with an alcoholic that I've known for 40 years. But the alcoholic I haven't known for 40 years, you know what? It's easy for me to look down upon him. And so, that's one of the things, again, and so that's the thing it's kind of saying here is, you know what? Things change sometimes once we hear somebody's story. Again, when I go and meet this alcoholic over here that I've never known, and I meet him, and I hear his story, hear what's going on in his life, then you know what? I have a love for him, a compassion for him, but before I met him, what? I looked down upon him. But now, man, I've heard his story. I know what he's going through. I know, some things. And so, you know what? I may have some more compassion on him than I had before. And so, again, hearing somebody's story, I got our old pastor at Sweetwater, he used to always, I'd walk in, he goes, so, what's your story? I don't know. And he just wanted to know what's happening, what's going on in your life right now. And he'd always say, what's your story? And again, he just wanted to hear what's happening, what's going on. Okay? And so, and Mr. Rogers, come on, Mr. Rogers, come up here. Mr. Rogers said this, it's possible to learn to love every person once you've heard their story. And I believe that's true. I mean, once you get to know somebody and you get to see, man, what's behind them, it changes everything about your thoughts about them. A lot of times. I will say a lot of times. Sometimes it may not, but a lot of times it will. We need to learn how to create a comfortable environment where people will feel free to share as much of their life story as they want. Okay, so again, create the environment where they want to share. Okay, about their life. We're going to get into some stuff here in just a minute. I know it seems like he's just buzzing through these. Listening techniques are not difficult, but they are not our default. Okay? You will not ask my wife's opinion on that? Or anybody else's spouse, right?
Amen.
That's right. We will have to restrain ourselves, become listeners rather than talkers. Okay? And so again, that's a difficult thing. That's what we're talking about here. And so again, here's what we're going to do. We're listening evangelism. This is how this works. Okay?
Go back.
Yeah, I guess so. Go up to number 7. See if 7 or 6.
That's the first one. It's just back one.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. We'll go on. The key to what we will learn will be to practice it. Okay? None difficult or difficult, but often listening is not our default. Okay? So, one thing is we're going to initiate the conversation. Who likes to talk to a stranger?
Oh, I do.
You do?
Oh, I do.
Okay,
How you gonna meet them if you don't talk to them?
okay.
Have you ever met a stranger?
No.
No.
So, but yeah, I mean, some people are good at that. They're good at talking to everybody. So it's like, man, I don't want to talk to them. I don't know, I don't know them. Why should I talk to them? What am I going to talk to them about? Okay? Jesus, yeah, we're going to get to that. But yeah, but again, sometimes we got to get there first. We got to get through some stuff to get there. And so one thing is to initiate conversation is this. I know probably some of you men, probably more than women, like to sit out there on the bench somewhere at some store, outside some store, and just watch people. Okay, you like to walk by and notice them and know what's going on, what's happening, and so forth. And so that's one of the things. Take time to notice people and be the one to start the conversation. Notice stuff about them. Okay. Again, Bess Harris says, "Oops, that was one there." Make a comment about something that's evident about their life. So here's one thing is, you can use almost anything to start a conversation with someone. Logo on a shirt or hat, a tattoo, the weather. Maybe it's a ring. I know some ladies like, well, is he a ring or a necklace? And notice something about that. And, ask, where did you get that from,
What are you limping for?
Why?
Doesn't really work too well.
No, that probably does not. That probably does not work too well. But again, just some things that you notice about them. I'll share this a little bit. The guy who wrote this, Chris Lowry, who's our state BCM director and in charge of the emerging generations, he kind of wrote this up. And so he uses this a lot at restaurants. And he'll use it on the waiters and waitresses and stuff. And he went one restaurant he was at. He noticed this lady had a tattoo of, I think it was some footprints. And so he never got a chance to talk to her, but after they got a meeting, so they're fixing to leave, he went up to her and asked her, goes, "Hey, I see the tattoo on your arm with the footprints. What does that stand for?" And I think it was something to do with her kids or something, her children. I don't remember what this thing was, but something that simple. Okay? And so that's the thing we're talking about here is just, again, you never know what will cause somebody to start a conversation. So again, study them and just, find things that, hey, this is what I'm going to ask a question about. I'm going to ask them something about whatever. Maybe it's about their accent. That's a different accent from around here. Where are you from? Okay? And so, all right. So here's the thing on listening evangelism. We talk about your stance. Okay? Again, a lot of times we think about talking to people we want face to face, right? Yes, you want face to face? Cheryl, what do you think? I see you shake your head. No? It don't matter. Okay. Well, here's one of the things. They really, in this, they want to say, hey, angle yourself at a 45 to 90 degrees. So kind of like this, and that person would say like this. Okay? And kind of why do you do that? Well, because one of the things is that's, and I think if you'll watch me, I'll practice it some. Is this way, when I'm talking to them, if I look this way and I stare at something, you know what? They can turn and stare at that too. Or if I'm looking at them face on, behind them, I'm going. They're wondering, you know what? They're wondering, what's going on back there? Buddy, and then you may lose that person. And so that's why you stay at the 45, 90 degree. Just so you can, so then, you know what? Both of you can see what's going on out this way. Nobody's lost in the conversation or distracted from that. Distance. Now let me ask you. Ken, if I come up here and I talk to you and I get right up here, is that a safe spot or what? True. It can feel a little weird though, doesn't it? It feels a little weird. But though, if I stand this far back, we're having a conversation, is that a little weird?
Why do you not worry about bad breath?
That's true. That's true. Right. And so, but it's kind of awkward that conversation this far apart, isn't it? And so again, they want to say, hey, stand about 18 inches to 4 feet away from each other. That way you're not in their zone, but you're not too close.
You're not in their space.
Yeah, you're not in their space, but again, you're not, too far away. So, again, that's kind of a comfortable area.
And this kind of happened to me when my daughter and I took the kids and went to Wyoming to see my mom. We were going downtown because we had a concert in the park. And so we stopped at a convenience store right close to my mom's house and got us drinks. And there was this, he was a biker, you could tell. And he was pretty rough looking. But he was sitting out there, had his lawn chair by a picnic table, right there in front of the store, and he was reading a book. And he kind of spoke to me when I went in, and I said, well, hello. And so I went in the store, and I came out, he goes, hey, little lady. He says, do you know Jesus? And I said, yes, sir, I do. And we stood there and talked for about 15, 20 minutes. Kids were honking the horns, like, come on, Mom, you know. And so I get in there, and Nick goes, why did you talk to that man? I said, Nick, he actually talked to me first. I said, he asked me if I knew Jesus. And so when we got to where the park was, my mom was there, I was telling her about it, and she rattled off the names. She says, oh yeah, he's just part of this community. He walks around and goes to churches and just, he's rough looking, but he was a really nice guy.
Yeah. And so,
Just book by cover.
yeah, that's exactly right. And that's one thing I think through this listening evangelism we've learned, you can't do that. You gotta, but what this does also is, again, it's called evangelism, but you know what? Sometimes we go, well, man, you need to go out and tell people about Jesus. And you're like, man, I don't know where to start, I don't know what to do. And this is just one of the things here, as we're going to see, it's just a process to get you to that point to where you can, where it's not like you've got to tell them about them, right off the bat. Get to know the person, get to find some things in common, and to share, you figure out how to share with them. Okay? Stepping inside this area makes people uncomfortable. We'll talk about that. The handshake. Everybody shakes hands, right?
Not anymore.
Not anymore. I know. But a lot of times you want to shake people's hands. Again, and there's always that guy, maybe that woman, I don't know, that really wants to let you know they're powerful. And they'll shake their hand as hard as they can to let you know, hey, I'm in charge. And you're like, ugh. And so that's one thing we don't do. So it needs to be firm but not painful. Okay, anybody ever shook the hand of the dead fish hand?
The wet noodle.
Yeah, the wet noodle. Avoid this. Yeah, don't do the wet noodle. Give it a firm shake. People want to know you're alive. Want to know you care. Want to know you're interested. Because again, you'll see. Again, sometimes you'll see people shaking hands, and they just really, I'm going to shake your hand because I have to, but I really don't care. Shake your hand. There you go. Avoid the double-handed shake or limp hand. Okay, trying to impress people. Should last 2 to 3 seconds. So just a short, not a 5-minute handshake. Okay? Name exchange. This is the hardest thing, isn't it? The name exchange. Because how many times have you went up there and shook your hand, met somebody, and even after they said it, do you know what their name is? No. Terrible.
Every day.
That's old age.
Thinking now or later.
But here's the thing. It says this, listen to their name rather than focus on saying yours. Listen to their name. And maybe it's starting off with you say your name first so you can hear their name. Okay, so you can remember it. Because again, I've done that, I don't do it enough. But again, that waiter or waitress or that person that's helping you in a store or whatever. Do we care about their name, the guy who's helping you at Walmart? Ace, I'm going to say, I said Ace here, Dawn. Dawn, let me ask you, because you worked out here at Ace, you worked at that other place, the blue place, Lowe's. Is it important, let me ask you this, and others of you may be the same way, you can answer this question too, but when somebody, customer, calls you by name, or as they walk away, say, thanks, Don? Does that make a difference?
Oh, yeah. I mean, at Lowe's, I had my name on me, it's very proud of me.
Yeah,
And I get, at Ace, I get my name, you ask my name.
yeah.
So, yeah, it's important.
Yeah, and so again, same with people. They want to know, it just makes a difference when they know, when they, people they're talking to can say their name back to them, or say to the waiter or waitress, you mention their name to them. And say, you pay attention, you know my name? You heard me? And so again, focusing on saying their name. They got a question you can ask about their name. I think, Ken and Don sitting around with each other. Is Ken your name, or is that a shorting for Kenneth, or Kenny, or?
All of the above.
What about you, Don?
That's down.
Yours is Donald. So again, you find out those information that find out a little bit more. Again, like Donald, I know his real name is Donald.
Is
So
Benny
again-
short for Benjamin?
No, it's just Benny. It's just straight Benny.
The only time I answered Donald, my mother would be like,
Straight Benny as opposed to crooked Benny.
Yeah, yeah. It's just, that's all I know, is Benny.
it makes
I'm
an
looking for my
individual,
email,
you know, get
Yeah,
inside,
Benji?
you remember.
yeah. When I was a kid, that's what I was called, was Benji, until I got older and said, I want to go by Benny instead.
At Sonic, you used to push the red button, and then when the waitress gets ready to come out, it shows her name on the screen.
Oh, yeah.
And you come up there and say, well, thank you, so-and-so, and they're like, look at you like, how do you know my name?
That's crazy, how did
Yeah.
you know my name? Richard had to say it's on the screen.
It's on the screen.
And hopefully that's the right name for the person, hopefully it's not the right person.
Yeah.
But yeah, a person's name is so
When
important to
these
them.
changes, it makes it.
So, okay. Repeat their name to them several times, and again, just in your mind, just so you keep it on your mind and heart. Eye contact. Again, it's big, okay, yeah. Maintain eye contact 60 to 70% of the time. Okay, and a lot of times we want to think, I gotta keep it 100% of the time. But 100% just weirds people out.
Yes, it is.
Will you please blink? While you're talking to me, But it's 60, and again, remember, we're standing at an angle. We're not face to face, we're standing at an angle, so I can look over here, look back over here. Now here's some interesting facts here. Casual gaze looks straight into the eyes, which is good. Okay? The intimate gaze is when eyes drop to the mouth or chin area. Okay? Because then you're kind of like, you get their mouth or chin, and they're like, something on my teeth, something on my chin, something on my beard,
Something in my teeth.
The superior gaze is when the eyes move to the forehead or top of head. Is that his real hair? Is that his real hair?
What's going on in there?
Yeah.
He doesn't have hair.
How did he go bald so early in life, So again, those different gazes kind of give people different thoughts, ideas. But again, just looking at them, and then, you can turn away and relax, and then look back. Both of these create discomfort and should be avoided. Okay, I'm going to review this really quick. Use the following question to review the material just covered. I think I was going to move in. What are some ways to initiate a conversation? Comment on something evident in their
Get
life.
that box off of that real tall shelf.
Yes. Yeah. Ask a question. Just ask a question. Comment on something evident in their life. Again, depends on who you are. Man, I really like your red hair. Again, I would never say that to somebody. What's my wife? Okay. But again,
She doesn't have red hair.
Exactly.
We'll move on.
Today. Stop this.
I know. Stance. Which way do we face? We face each other at a 45, 90-degree angle. Okay? Again, just relax, comfortable. We don't have to stare each other down. We can look at other things. What is a comfortable stance for most Americans to stand and talk to one another? 18 inches to 4 feet. So again, that
Like 6 foot.
6 foot, well,
Oh,
that's what they say. You know,
Then you have to talk really loud.
yeah, you know, I'm gonna chase a rabbit really quick. I took my mother to the orthopedic doctor in Oklahoma City at OU Physicians the other day, and there was this lady that she was wearing a mask, and, you know, we all had to wear a mask, but she had a mask on, and she would walk over to the x-ray area and say, "Did you say my name?" And I don't know, she had problems hearing, and I don't know, she had to explain to everybody she talked to why she couldn't hear, and women's voices were different, so, but she sat as far away as possible, because she was social distancing, and you know, and I've never seen anybody do this before. And, you know, we were back in the back, and we passed her, and had a little area. There was a little bit of room space-wise, maybe 6 feet between chairs. And this one spot she could have sat at, she was like, "Nope, social distance." You know, she wouldn't go in there. And I was just like, whoa, man, you know, it's hard to get to know her. But again, you know, that 6 feet's become a common thing nowadays somewhat. But again, when this was written, this was pre-COVID, so again, 18 inches to 4 feet. Handshake, true or false? A handshake should be firm. True. Okay. A handshake should be long. No. 2 to 3 seconds. Okay. A handshake should be double-handed. That just spread more germs, isn't it, Freddie? No, you don't need that.
if you're loose, no leave.
Huh?
If you're loose, they'll leave.
That, you know, that's maybe true for some people, though. What are good ways to remember names?
Say it over and over again.
Listen carefully, repeat it, ask a question about it. Okay, ask those things. So,
Association. They didn't mention that, did they?
association, yeah. Yeah, I mean, just, you know. And again, sometimes that right there is with the name, and again, how I said, you know, is that your, you know, what's that, where's that name come from? Is that a full name, you know, a partial name, or a nickname? Or, you know, and they may say, well, that's my middle name. Well, that's, you know, what's your first name then? You know? That's what them officers ask, don't they? Well, what's your first name? I don't know what your first name is, right? I don't care what your middle name is.
They're going by their middle name, they don't